This is the one way I unpack all of the sauce for you. So if you run an info company, a B2B company, you want to launch paid ads, but you don't really know where to start, this is the one that you need to watch. This is not some retention hack, nothing. The entire goal of this video is to give you everything that you need to be able to go launch paid ads and scale your paid ads as well. Because I've gotten a ton of questions, people just asking me like, hey, Brilliance, like, where do I start from if I want to launch paid ads? What do I need? How do I script the ads? How do I build a landing page? And granted, yes, there's a lot of this AI stuff right now that you can use to speed things up. But the key thing here is you still have to understand the fundamentals, so you actually even know the prompt to use and how to actually provide information and context to this AI model. Again, the entire goal of this video is to give you all of that so that you're confident going into your new paid ads campaign. You know exactly what to do. And if you're new to the channel, welcome me. My name is Brilliance, Big Brilliance, and we run ads and build funnels for some of the biggest names in the online business space. A lot of them that you definitely know about, and we have NDAs with some of these guys, quite honestly, so I can't bear out their numbers here, but we did some pretty good stuff. With that being said, let's dive into the video. Before we start running any campaigns, we like to go in and financially just model things out to see if the numbers even make sense for this type of offer. It's like trying to run a low ticket funnel for a $3,000 product, for example. It's really not going to work. We're trying to run a $20 product through a call funnel. It's really not, it doesn't make sense to run it that way simply because the model, like the financial modeling, like when you look at it, it doesn't make sense. But say you want to run a $3,000 product through a call funnel, then it makes sense. And you want to run a $100 product through a low ticket funnel and then upsell people in the back end. Yeah, that makes complete sense, right? So again, the financial model here exists for us to see what type of funnel is going to be best for the product that we're trying to sell to paid traffic. So we have a couple models here. We have the VSL call funnel, we have the webinar funnel, we have the direct checkout, the challenge funnel, low ticket, ascension funnel, and all of these funnels work. It just depends on the type of product that you sell and also what you're willing to invest on the front end in terms of even your ad spend and also the type of team that you run. If you take a high velocity opt-in funnel, for example, if you don't have like a savage, absolutely savage setting team, then there's no point running that funnel because you're going to waste a lot of money and waste a lot of time and waste a lot of leads, to be honest. But we do see time and time again that call funnels really work for most products, provided you're selling something above $3,000. So we default to call funnels for the most part. Webinars right now are crushing as well. Some of our biggest clients run webinars, but call funnels absolutely crush right now as well. So as you can see here, this was a model that I was running for one of our clients who sells a $50,000 offer. Now, granted, the average sales price is probably not going to be $25K because when you factor in like payment plans and stuff like that too. And again, we've also helped this client sell this thing, so we do know that the average sales price is going to sit somewhere around 12.5K because some people may want to split the payment across like 4 or maybe even 2, but the maximum is going to be 4. So we just take that, take a quarter of what the 50K is, which is 12.5K right here, as you can see. So if we were to spend $7,500 on this campaign with the underperforming stats, we would make about $17,000 back on the front end. This is cash return on ad spend, your cash ROAS, right? So your LTV ROAS is still there. We're talking about cash because cash is what allows us to reinvest into the ads, the cash that we have in the bank, right? So on that alone, we'll have a 2x ROAS, 2.3x ROAS on $7,500 in ad spend. Let's say our CPMs are 130. Let's say our impressions here are 57,000. Click-through rate is 1.5%, which we like to aim for 2% plus. On that, let's say the application rate on the landing page is about 3.5%, which we could definitely improve. And the book rate is 70%. And the let's say your show rate is 65%. With all the stats and your closure at 10%, you're basically making $17,000 with these poor stats, to be honest, right? But let's say it's on average. Let's change this once again to 12.5K, right? So let's say we spend $7,500 and we have all of these stats, $100 CPM, which isn't too bad, could be improved, but isn't too bad. Some of our clients get CPMs of literally like 30, $40 and even 70. So this isn't unrealistic at all. So let's say we have a CTR click-through, and this is a unique click-through rate, by the way. We don't look at the general click-through rates, we look at the unique clicks that are coming through. So let's say we have a unique click-through rate of 1.75%, application rate of 4.5%, book rate of 75%, show rate of 70%, and closure of 20%. We are making $77,000 on the front end for this particular offer with these stats that we have right here. Now, let me actually see something. So let's say we spend $4,000 here. Let's say we spend $3,000, for example, right? So we're making $30K on the front end if we have all of these stats. Now, there's people that's going to say, oh, but how do I make sure, how do I dial in all of these stats? And it's all about this bottleneck analysis and figuring out what the biggest bottleneck is, attacking that, and then moving on to the next one. Like we had an incident with a client where we were running ads, but the problem was the setting team. So the setting team was complaining that, no one is picking up calls and all of these things, like the clients are showing up to the call. The sales team is complaining that these leads don't have money. And granted, yeah, we launched new ads and the lead quality became a lot better. But what we had to implore the client to do was to actually go in and try to dial and set these leads themselves. And what happened was show rate went from like 30% to like 62% literally in a couple of days. So it was like an inherent problem with the sales team. And we had to let the sales team go at the end of the day. So you have to make sure you're finding the bottlenecks, the biggest bottleneck, attacking those. Once you attack the bottleneck, then you move on to the next one, right? So again, we attacked the show rate for our clients, solve that, and now we're attacking the close rates, and then we're going to solve that, and then we'll move on to the next bottlenecks, like the front end, and fixing that, and then before you know it, like we're scaling up that offer, really, really quickly. So again, you have to just always be analyzing what the bottlenecks are, so that you can be able to get profitable as quickly as possible, as quickly as you possibly can. So again, that's the entire thing. That's the entire strategy behind getting this from underperforming to average to overperforming, right? Ideally, we want it to sit in the overperforming range, which it sometimes does, but you just have to be very conservative if you're running paid ads. So again, let's say we have all of these stats: 2% click-through rate, $7,500 in ad spend, a $90 CPM. We have 75% book call rate here, 75% show rate, 20% close rates. That's going to be 12.5K in ad spend, and you're making about 117 grand off of $7,500 in ad spend, which is about 15x ROAS, which believe it or not, it's very, very achievable, right? So again, I'm not in any way, shape, or form promising that this is going to happen. One of our clients has achieved about a 13x LTV ROAS on the first deal that was closed, because he sells like a really high ticket offer. His client sells a $50,000 offer, which I was actually modeling just here through this sheet right here. But again, I'm in no way, shape, or form guaranteeing that that's going to happen for you. I don't know what you sell. I don't know what offer you run. So again, your offer is also a huge part of it, right? So again, you have to absolutely make sure you're running things through the financial model to understand, like, okay, across these averages, what could I realistically expect? And that way you're going in, what numbers you need to hit, what KPIs you need to have, what ad spend, what you need to spend. Because some people will come in, they'll be like, oh, I want to book 200 calls this month. Well, you have to spend $30,000 to book 300 calls this month. Are you ready to spend that amount? They're like, oh no, like I don't want to spend that. So again, we have to figure out what works for you, and how much you're willing to spend, how much you're willing to put up, and we can align that and make sure that we're going in with the right expectations. So that is very important. That is the first thing that you should be doing with your funnels. Now, the second thing is going to be actually going in and making an offer that is cold traffic optimized. So an offer that cold traffic actually wants, because the problem is that a lot of people run paid ads to offers that really no one wants. It's either like the offer, like there's like a really small TAM, so a really small demographic of people want that, or an offer that is selling to a mass market but no one really wants it. So let's say you have a real estate offer, for example. We're running a real estate offer for one of our clients who does wholesale real estate, and the problem was that well, it wasn't like a huge problem, but we knew that the offer wasn't as attractive as it could be. So what we had to do was to go in and figure out what we could do to make this offer more attractive. And we found that the biggest problem that people were having was generating leads for their wholesale business. That's literally the biggest problem in the industry. It's just getting leads consistently and be able to sell those deals, right? But the first layer there is getting the leads. And a lot of people cold call, do mass texting, they do a lot of manual work to get those leads. So what we did is spin up a new offer that involves using AI to get your lead. So AI PPC is what we call it, AI Google PPC. And we're still refining it, we're still in the process, right? We haven't even launched it yet. And that's the process of just, building an offer, because you launch it, you refine it, you see what people want, and then you continue to scale that offer. And even with, ours, for example, we have something, you can create something called a decoy offer that is you're going to have this on the front end. So this could be something where you offer people something for free. Now, bear in mind, this is something that's only someone who's qualified is going to be able to use. It should not be something that the general population is going to use. It should be only for someone who's qualified. So in our case, ours was, we're going to build you a landing page for free. We're going to script you 15 ads. We're going to script you 15 ads for free. And with these, you can book calls for really, really cheap. So again, you have to build an offer where cold traffic is going to see that. They're going to be like, damn, like I need to get this thing. Just like with the wholesale one, like that's the biggest problem that everyone has. So when you have an offer that tells them, hey, AI is going to get you all of these leads using Google PPC, is going to set up the entire system for you, it just makes it a no-brainer for them to opt in. And like that, you get really cheap calls, you get a lot of engagement on the ads, Meta gives you better costs, and you just get a better ROAS on the front end as well. So that's something you have to put in mind. Again, the cold traffic offer has to be something that, number one is revenue driven. A lot of people miss this one. Even if you're saving time for people or just automating stuff for people, it can still be tied to revenue. So you have to make sure that you're tying it to revenue. And also it needs to be something where the time and effort that they put it on the front end is a lot reduced than what they would normally have to do, right? It's a lot reduced. And also like the amount of investment that they have to put up, probably going to be like a one-time payment. And also you have to make sure that you have some sort of like insurance policy. It does help kind of protect the clients going in, like a guarantee, right? Like a lot of the offers that we see right now just tearing through the market and they're just absolutely destroying, have some sort of guarantee. I know people have things against like guarantees, like, oh, we don't do guarantees, but listen, you, my friend, you need a guarantee for your offer. It doesn't have to be, oh, we're going to give you back, we're going to refund you everything. It can be that sometimes, right? But we just see offers time and time again with guarantees. It doesn't mean that you're not confident in what you do. It's just that the market is very, very sophisticated. And if you want to break through the market, you need an offer that is going to be very, very attractive. So again, something that's revenue driven, that is a one-time payment, most likely, that's something that you can set up once as well and they can run it themselves. So, you can continue to run it itself. Something that is, something that delays, something that they can also get results with really, really quickly, and something that is that they don't have to put in a lot of effort on the front end to be able to achieve. So these are some components of a cold traffic optimized offer, and offer the cold traffic wants. If you have this, then it doesn't freaking matter what the landing page is. And like, again, at the end, like it does matter. But the thing is, if you have a really good offer, it does do a lot of the heavy lifting for you, because you're not going in and you're not trying to overly just sell the offer, even on the sales call, on the landing page. You're not trying to overly sell, because people want this thing. Like they want this thing. Like if you have a really good offer, you have good ads, good messaging, you're not lazy with your messaging, you have a good landing page that's actually going to convert these people, you're going to have a really good time, because people are going to book calls. Is something that they need. You cannot understate the importance of a really good offer. It's like the biggest thing that you should, it's one of the biggest things, definitely one of the biggest things you should spend time on, because that's what you're going to advertise through your ad. So again, make sure you dial in your offer. I know this is long, just yapping about the offer, but your offer is one of the key things that is going to make sure that you absolutely destroy. If you look at people like Imangadi, Charlie Morgan, the reason why they were able to rip through the market was because they sold something that people really wanted, right? They sold something that people really wanted. Charlie Morgan, for example, was 52 clients in 52 weeks, right? So it's a guarantee, and it absolutely ripped through the market, right? It got him to $1 million a month, right? Imangadi, you can see his product, he was selling it at the time where, of course, the market wasn't as sophisticated as it is right now, but he also has something that people wanted. The lifestyle that he promoted, what he was doing, people saw that and people wanted that. So at the end of the day, it's like if people want something, it really doesn't matter too much, like, what you have to do on sales or the landing page, even though all these things matter to improve the conversions and everything. But really good offer is really going to blow everything out of the water for you. So just keep testing that fast as well. Now, the next thing that we're going to talk about is the actual ads that you're going to run. So this is one where I see a lot of people mess up. And the key thing here, what we like to do is you have to go into, before you even start writing any ads, we like to think about our ads in terms of avatars and not just, angles. And yes, those avatars are going to give us the angles, but we want to think about the avatars first, the angles, and then the actual ad script. And the reason we want to do this is because we want to write with someone. We want to write to someone, right? We don't want to write just an ad angle that is going to be an angle for no reason, right? We want to write to someone, and when we write to that person, think about 10,000 other people that could resonate with that exact same problem. So that is what we want to do. That's what we want to achieve. And the way we do this, the number one, just watch your sales calls. You want to watch your sales calls manually to extract the pain points, the situations, the problems, the circumstances, the outcomes that they're looking for. All of these things are going to help you. I'm going to show you an example of what this looks like, right? So let's open this, and let's see what some of these look like. So when you look at some of, let's see, so you can see right here, So we have avatar breakdowns. You can see this is Kenny, and you can see we have all of these things. We have all of these details. We have the desires and outcomes. You can see this right here as well. And you can see who this person is, the problems and pains. All of these things now are going to help you to be able to go out there and create ads that are going to speak to different reasons why people may want to buy your offer. You're going to tap into a wide range of reasons that you can, and this is going to help you create a lot of unique angles as well. So this is extremely important that you do this. Do not miss this step. And you can use AI to help you with this as well, but do not skip the step of actually going in and watching the sales calls. I found out to be anytime that I sit down and watch the sales calls and actually listen to what these prospects are talking about on the sales calls, it always outperforms when, we just throw the sales transcripts into ChatGPT and say, hey, man, it's like, figure this thing out for me. It makes a huge difference when you actually watch it, because it gives you a lot of context. So that is extremely important to understand, because when you have that, you're going to have a lot of unique angles, and you have, say, create about 25 ads per set, and then you can create an extra 30 on the back end as well using other angles, so that when you launch this one, let's say this one's done scale or take off, you can immediately launch the next batch of 30 without having to spend a lot of time waiting, right? So that is the first thing. And usually when you launch these, Meta is going to run with 1, 2, or 3 of these that hit. And that's how they're going to, that's their signal to tell you, hey, these ads are good, and the rest of the ones that you created are shit. And that's completely fine. Usually it's just going to be 1, 2, 3 of them. And that's all you have to, you really don't have to do anything besides just now go in and reiterate on those winning ads. Now, we like to do a minimum of 25 ads. That is what we like to do. And sometimes our clients flip out. They're like, oh, I don't want to record 25 ads. Well, at the end of the day, it's the game. And the thing is that with paid ads, when you figure it out, you figured it out. Even if it takes you 6 months or even a year to figure it out, you just have to figure it out once, and you'll be able to iterate on what you found that won for you and absolutely ripped, right? So you also have to be patient. It's the game requires a lot of patience. You're not just going to go in and month 1, you're profitable. Sometimes it may happen. It's happened for a lot of our clients, but sometimes it may not happen, or you may not figure out what the messaging angle is until you test a lot of angles. And that's what happened with this wholesale offer as well, because the angle that is ripping right now, we didn't figure that out in the first batch. We figured it out in the second batch, right? So the first batch booked calls, but it didn't book calls as well as the second batch. And the third batch is going to be even better, and it's going to book calls at a cheaper cost and still bringing this qualified lead. So just make sure you're giving things time. And then in terms of your creative formats, this is one that we're seeing that is really, really huge right now. So if you're running ads and you're only doing direct to camera ads, you're going to have a tougher time. And that's not because direct to camera ads are inherently bad or anything. It's simply because Meta now, with the new algorithm, which I'm going to break down in a second, Andromeda, they're biasing heavily towards ads that look like content. Because at the end of the day, when you think about it, Meta is a machine learning algorithm. It's a social platform, and they want to show people content. They don't want to show people ads. In fact, if they had a way to completely eliminate ads and still make money, they would do that. They will absolutely do that. But of course, their main revenue driver is ads, so they have to show people ads at the end of the day. But they're going to give you way more. They're going to give you way better cost if you have ads that don't look like ads, and that's why we like to run a lot of these creative formats that look like content. So we're talking about B-roll ads, some split screen ads, some Loom style videos like this one that I'm recording right here, some green screen ads where you just open the camera and then you're describing something and you have it as the background. Selfie videos work incredibly well. One of the best ads that we have performing in one of our accounts is also a selfie video. Podcast style videos are really good as well. Static images are working. Static images have always worked historically. However, we still have comment reply videos, and even one that I didn't add here, like the ask me a question ads. And then high production skits are ones that are ripping as well. These ones do take a bit of time because you have to get a crew, you have to get people to handle the camera, you're changing a lot of scenes, so this one takes a bit of time, but when you do it right, it does rip, because it's more like a brand asset. It's not just like a creative that you're running, but it's more like a brand asset that is going to be there for a long time. So again, these creative formats, you can go ahead, just test a couple of them, 4 or 5 of them, and you're going to absolutely rip, because the algorithm is heavily biased towards ads that look like content. When you do that, my friend, you're going to have a really, really good time. So going on to the other one, so Meta Andromeda, this is one that people actually still confuse, right? So Meta last year, I think in July, they released an update, and right now it should be in every account. But basically, they released something called Andromeda, and it's the updated algorithm that changes how ads are being served. So now Meta can match your ads with specific people where you don't even need to do anything. You're targeting, and it's going to find someone who is more probable to convert with that type of ad. And that means that when you're running ads and Meta isn't converting anyone through those ads, you just simply know those ads are shit as opposed to, oh, it's maybe my targeting, right? So again, with Meta Andromeda, people are confusing it with, oh, I just need to push out a lot of ads into the system. But no, it's not just about a lot of ads. You need to actually have quality, and the angles have to be things that your prospects actually care about, or things that your prospects are going through. It can't just be ads for the sake of being ads. We have to make sure that these ads are individualized, they're unique, and you want to help Meta basically match people, because now the algorithm can basically just match people with your ads at such a granular level. Think about it. Facebook has 52,000 data points on every single person on the platform. Like, they know you way better than you know yourself, right? So why not just let the algorithm do its thing? And the way you can help it do its thing is simply by having really good ads that have individual angles that actually speak to the pains, the problems, the situations, circumstances of your ideal clients. That's how you really do it. So Meta also wants you to test more ads. That's why we're testing more creatives, as opposed to when we're running the hook and bodies, we would do about 5 ads in a dynamic creative. But now we're testing 20, 25, 30 ads per set, even more. The last static batch that I actually just scripted was about 34 ads. Right, so initially it wasn't like this. We would test about 5 ads and call it a day. But now they are improving the platform as they should, and they want to show people more unique ads. They don't want people seeing the same ad over and over again, because if I see the same ad over and over and over and over again, like, I tend to just be annoyed, and I just want to like click off that ad. Now, granted, that is still important. It's still a part of advertising in terms of like showing people the same stuff over and over again. But you don't want your stuff to be too repetitive, and that's why we have these creative formats to help you just vary up how your ads are being displayed, and also have unique messaging for every single angle that you write, so that your ads are not the same. I see people still doing the hook and body thing, and trust me, like, a client of ours came to us and he was like, yeah, I want to test this, and I advised against it. Like, I posted about this on my Instagram, and he was like, yo, I still want to test this, and I was like, no, this is going to waste our money. But he was like, yo, you're going to be surprised when this works. And I was like, okay, cool, let's see. And we tested it and spent about 2.5K, 2.2K in spend, and booked a single call that didn't close. So, and the funny thing was, this was also run to warm traffic. Think about if it was actual cold traffic, would have been abysmal, right? So do not run hook and bodies. Just put the time in, become a better marketer, and just train yourself on writing these individualized ads. And don't use AI to write your ads. AI is good at some things like scripting, VSLs, maybe even helping with some of the landing page copy, even though you have to be actively involved in terms of just looking at the messaging and making sure things sound human. But in terms of the ads, we haven't seen very good results just writing ads with AI. And I think the reason may be that AI doesn't really have a lot of context. And a lot of these people who even build these AI platforms aren't really even that good at marketing. So it's like, just sit down. It's very possible to script these things without AI. Of course, there's a lot of things you could do with AI, but when it comes to the ads, like, would you rather just hand that off to AI and be like, hey, just go figure this thing out. I want to make $10 million, and then the AI is going to go do it. If it was that way, then everyone would be printing $10 million a month. But it's not there yet, and that's simply the reality of the technology. It's still great, but when it comes to scripting out your ad for you, it's not there yet, right? So moving on to the next thing. The next is going to be your landing page, and this is one where a lot of people quite honestly drop the ball. Like I mentioned at the start of the training, your offer is one of the key parts. But also, if you have a landing page that doesn't convert that traffic that is coming through your ad, you're going to have a really, really rough time, right? So I'll show you a couple of examples of landing pages, but first, let me actually break down like what the landing page has to do for you. So before you build a landing page, what you have to think about is, how aware is the person that I'm selling to? Because you may have ads that are speaking to people who are aware, some ads that are speaking to people who are unaware, and you always have to make sure your landing page is tailored to the type of person that you're speaking to. Because if you're speaking to someone like, hey, like they already understand the solution, or they're in the market for a solution, when they don't, then they are not probable to convert through that landing page. But if you have a landing page that speaks to people like they already understand, what the solution is, and they actually are in the market for a solution, then it's going to rip through, right? So again, with your landing page, usually what we like to default to is a very simple system, which is the above the fold, which involves your ICP callout in the eyebrow, which I'm going to show you guys in a second, the headline, which is going to encompass everything about, you know, what the outcome is and what we're trying to do for them. The subheadline, that could involve like the mechanism of how you actually get the results, and then, you know, show them some proof, have the VSL there as well, and then we can go into the problems, and sometimes even go into the offer directly, right? So we also want to show them like the mechanism that the mechanism of the false solution. So things that they have tried in the past that haven't worked, that is usually intertwined with the problems, because we want to show them, hey, this is what you're facing right now, and this is what you think is a problem, but that is not a problem. This is how you actually solve it, right? So and then you go into, you know, the benefits of what you do. You go into your solution, how you actually solve the problem. And sometimes you may qualify them, it's optional. And, you know, you give them the offer, obviously, and then you send them to the frequently asked questions, right? So again, you want these to be heavily contextual in terms of your landing page. You want your landing page to be 100% aligned with your ads. Your landing page needs to speak the exact same language, the exact same way that was articulated, in the exact same way that it was articulated inside of your ads. If you don't do this correctly, then your ads are simply not going to perform, right? So I'll show you some examples, right? So we see, so this landing page right here is absolutely ripping right now. This landing page is ripping. We did the design, we did not do the copy, but this is very good. A good example of when you have really good offer, you have really good messaging, you have a really good landing page that, you know, is contextual and actually speaks about what is being spoken about in the ad, and it's not like, you know, incongruent. So you can see here we have the ICP call out business owners, which is basically anybody, and, you know, it's really, really large TAM, and that's something that we've been seeing over and over again. It's just like having a large TAM is going to book you a lot of calls, and when you have a really good offer, right? So, and then we'll get you 15,000 high intent visitors, millions of impressions, hundreds of customers, and total control of over what Reddit, Google, and AI say about you. 100% done for you. You can see here. So basically, if we were to break this down, this right here is the outcome, right? So this right here is the outcome, and then we break down how we actually get the results. So use Reddit marketing. This is how we get the results, right? And you want to be super clear in how you do this as well. The thing is, a lot of people try to use intrigue, and while intrigue is not a bad thing, but you're not going to convert as many people using intrigue, because people now have to go and actively consume your landing page to be able to get the rest of the info, which is quite honestly just, you know, it's not the best way to go about things. I think it's ridiculous, to be honest, because you have to give people all of the information that they need to make a decision. I'll show you another landing page of ours that is ripping right now. So you see this, and something that people don't talk about as well is the actual design of the landing page. So if you take a look here, we say in 30 days or less, our automated virtual wholesaling system will help you sign your next contract and close 10 or 20K wholesale deals proven across 250 students, right? We'll show you how to bring motivated seller leads to you daily and sell any type of lead without having to cold call, drive with dollars, fight over buyers, figure it out yourself, so that you can build a consistent income with wholesaling. All of these, like, we have the audience called out here. We have the timeline here that we're going to achieve the results. We give them the mechanism. We give them the benefits of the outcome, right? We give them the benefits right here, and we give them some proof, and we also explain how they get the results. We're not just saying, hey, okay, watch the video to find out more. No, fuck watching the video. No one is watching VSLs, right? If you're lucky, you're getting like 10-15% of people to watch your VSLs, but for the most part, no one is really watching your VSL. So you just have to make sure that, you know, all of this is optimized to the point where when someone reads your landing page, when someone reads you above the fold without even watching the VSL, they still understand what you're trying to and how you can help them. They still understand what you're trying to do and how you actually get the results. Right, so we'll take a look here as well. So in 90 days or less, a smart trading blueprint will take you from struggling to funded, proven across 2,100 students. And someone may say, hey, you're using the same type of you're using the same types of headline across multiple different landing pages. And yes, it works. That's why we're using this, because it absolutely works. So again, just make sure that you're explaining what the mechanism is and how it actually works. So here that we talk about smart trading blueprints, we still go down and we break down what a smart trading blueprint is and how it actually works. Right? So we say, so what exactly is a smart trading blueprint and why is it smart? And even here, we still explain how they get the results. So there's none of these intrigue bullshit, like it doesn't work. So we'll buy your first 50,000 prop firm challenge, and if you don't get funded in 12 weeks, we'll personally trade with you every day, live every day until you're funded. Think about that. This is a guarantee as well. This is like a double guarantee. So we'll buy your first 50,000 prop firm challenge, and if you don't get funded in 12 weeks, we'll personally trade it to you live every day until you're funded. This is how you do it. It's not just, hey, we're going to refund you the program. I saw a landing page. So I think I may be able to pull this up, but so if you take a look at this, you see the example of a landing page that should not be run to paid traffic. And just by looking at this landing page, I know this landing page is not converting, or even if it's converting, like it's going to bring in the wrong type of people, right? Simply because the messaging is just off. So you can see here, it has software for high income earners and busy professionals. And even busy professionals, like what does that even mean? We don't even understand what that means in the first place. And it's too small that, most people are going to miss it anyways. But yeah, you see how regular people are using AI to replace a W-2 income on Airbnb without owning property. We build it for you in 45 days. No beginning 30 days. We'll buy your furniture, take over your lease, and refund the program. Like this one is just like straight up needy. It's a needy guarantee that's like, okay, just buy this thing. And if you don't book anything in 30 days, we're going to buy your furniture, take over your lease, and it's straight up just, it's very, very needy. So we have to make sure that, we're not using these types of guarantees if, we're running into paid traffic, because you're going to attract a lot of shit leads, I'm telling you. Right. So again, it's like this right here isn't well designed as well. So you have to pay attention to your design. If you take a look at this landing page here, we'll install a proven AI-powered automated viral content system into your business and generate you millions of views with your ideal customers 100% done for you on a pay-per-view basis. This right here just exemplifies every single thing that they need to know to make a decision, right? Learn how we can install a plug-and-play viral content system into your brand without needing to pay retainers, make content, or pay for UGC creatives. And then we have this. And then, we have the rest of the landing page. And you can see how clean this is as well. So this is like super, super clean. And this is one thing that is going to heavily affect your conversions. If your landing page isn't clean and prospects are visiting from paid traffic, think about it like this. When someone comes to your page, does your page make them want to work with you more or less? If the answer is no, if it makes them want to work with you less, then you have to go in and redo everything. But if it makes them want to work with you more, it's fine. You can just run that. But like how you can actually figure this out is just look at the landing page yourself or send it to someone. Like, what is the perception that they have of you? Do they see you as a professional? Do they see you as someone that can help them? Or do they just think like this is just some scam and I can't work with this? Like if you look at this genuinely, like what comes to your mind? It's like just blank, it's just white, black text, and it's just like very, very funky, if you were to ask me. So you have to make sure that you put thought into your design, because people can trust you more that way. And it doesn't mean that no one is going to convert to your landing page. If your landing page is bare bones, of course some people are going to convert, but you lose out on a lot of people simply because you didn't build that trust. So it's absolutely essential. And when you have really good design like that, you get really good stats with your paid ads as well, because it's not just about the copy, it's about how the copy is consumed as well, how you present the copy to be consumed. And then the other thing is making your landing page skimmable as well. So when you build a landing page, think about it like this. If someone was to open up this landing page at 3 a.m., they're half asleep, and you're like, hey, figure out what the outcome here on this landing page is in 3 seconds. Would your landing page be able to help someone do that or not? Like if someone can look at your landing page and figure out what exactly the outcome is in 3 seconds or less, then you're doing something absolutely wrong. You're doing something very wrong, and you have to go back and actually figure out how to use strategic highlights. I'll show you this landing page, for example. So use very strategic highlights, the proof right here. You see all of these things. You can see how we highlight all of the outcomes and everything. You can see right here, after helping 2,000 students, we quite literally handle everything to become a funded and consistent trader, so that people don't have to read the entire page to understand what you're trying to sell or what you're trying to help them achieve. So that helps a ton in terms of just giving people the ability to consume your page very easily and very simply. So this landing page is really good. It's really fire. I love it. And when you take a look at Red Road, for example, it's very simple. You can see why work with us: generate millions of qualified impressions, get a massive boost to SEO and AI visibility, 15,000 new high-intent visitors to your site, shorten your sales cycle, increase your close rates. Like, it's very easy to just skim through this and understand, okay, I know what this is and I want this, without reading everything step by step. And if you take a look at this, it's literally the same thing as well. You can see, so these are the problems, and then we go in and we position all of the ways that we solve the problem. And then even we have this right here, and it's basically the same. It's a common theme, like it's a recurring theme across every single landing page that we build, because this is absolutely important. So again, hopefully that was helpful on the landing page side. Make it contextual, make sure your messaging is aligned with your Make sure your messaging is aligned with your ads, and you should have a good time. Make sure it's aligned. Make sure you have good design, good branding, and make sure your copy is like really simple to understand as well. Now we move on to the next part, which is going to be your actual confirmation pages that you use for your landing pages. And this is very simple. All you have to do with this is simply just build out. So if we go to confirmation, you're going to see what a confirmation page looks like and how it should be built. So you can see here, this page is built for you to do your research on us before a call together. And basically you have a video just explaining what the page is and how they can use it. And then you go into, the actual questions that people have. So what you want to do to create these questions is by, just again, watch your sales calls, figure out what are the questions that people care about, and you want to answer those here. Because again, if you do this, you reduce the amount of people that come and call with you and they're asking you basic questions like, oh, what do you do? Like, who are you? Like, you want people coming on the call and they're like, hey, thank you so much for this video. I can tell you how many times people have come on calls with me and they're like, yo, thank you so much. I've not seen like someone just put together all of these videos to answer questions. So I appreciate you for doing that. This is a really, really valuable video. You wouldn't like it's hardly, you see when someone reads through this and actually watch, these videos get a ton of consumption, right? So I'll show you again for one of our clients. So if we take a look here and we go to confirmation, let's see if we're going to find that, or if it's a 404, okay. It's a 404. Yeah, so you can see here, this page is built for you to do due diligence and research on our company. So you can see here in the video, we tell them what this page is, that is you use this page for research. And then we have all of these questions that people are usually asking. So who is this for? What do you actually help me with? What are some examples of this hasn't worked? This is a question that people are going to ask. How long until I get my first deal? How do I get high quality leads? How do I balance this with my full-time job and my family? How much can I potentially make? How do I find agents to list properties on the MLS? How does open market wholesaling actually work? Are these results actually real? So these are questions that people care about. And when you have this, number one, you're going to improve your show rates. You're going to help people do their research instead of going on Reddit, on Google, like Googling you and trying to find out if you're a scam. You actually step in front of them before they go out and do those things. So you're giving them that information so that number one, increases their intent and also makes them more probable to show up to the calls. So it is a very important page. Always make sure you have two though. One of them is going to be for the qualified prospects. The other one is going to be unqualified for the unqualified prospects. There's many different strategies that we do for this. If we're running to paid traffic, usually it's just the same thing. Sometimes for some clients we do have like a different confirmation page entirely that just has a video and then a button for them to go access some resource without reading all of these things. But we want to make sure that these pages, when you run on paid traffic, one of them is pixeled and the other is not. So just make sure you're doing that. And then we're going to move on to the next step here, which is your backend email flows. And I'll go into the pre-call show up system in a second here. But your backend email flows are basically one of the key ways that we see to one of the key mechanisms that we use to also increase the intent and educate people before the call. So a lot of people try to complicate this. This is really not that complicated. You can really do about 9 emails, 12 emails, 16 emails, and just spread them out over a 72-hour period of time. Because again, we still want people to be booking calls out, 72 hours into the future at maximum. 72 hours. Sometimes we do 5 days maximum, but never let it pass. Never let it get past 5 days. So you have the backend email flows. You're basically, hitting them with objection handling. You're showing them proof. You're confirming their call. You're doing a lot of objection handling. You're showing them proof again. And even you're just educating them in general on what the opportunity is, and like answering the common questions that they usually have. That's all you're doing in the backend email flows. And these crush, especially at high volumes, right? At low volumes, let's say you're running, $200-$300 a day on spend, like it really doesn't matter. People are still going to read them. But when you start running, spend at like $1,000 plus a day, that's where you really start to see the effects, because people consume this a lot, and you're having a lot of people come through. And you see the feedback that you get there, and people get to answer your questions. And even in the emails, we have something called an engagement-based email. You can simply just ask them, hey, usually when people are coming on these calls, they have one question that is sitting on their mind, and they're like, hey, I need to get this answered. Like, what is one thing on your mind that what is a burning question that you have right now that you want to get an answer to? And you ask them, hey, just tell me what it is. I'm going to send you an email back. And usually people respond to that and they're like, hey, this is my question. So you have to make sure that you're including that as well. And then from the backend email flows, this is very simple to set up. in your closed CRM, your GHL, whatever the case might be. This is very easy to set up. And then we go into the pre-call show up system. This is one where most people absolutely hate doing, and a lot of people genuinely just fumble. There's generational fumbles on this thing, I'll tell you right here. But basically, you have to make sure that number one, you're dialing these leads. And before you even dial these leads, that you have some sort of, blue text software, use an iPhone to dial these people. It's going to increase your pickup rate. So you can use something like SendBlue, Link, or you have an iPhone, right? So you're going to triple dial every single lead. You're going to triple dial them. Let's say they opt in right now and it's morning, let's say 10 a.m., 11 a.m. If they don't pick up, you're going to triple dial them, again at night. And after you triple dial them in the morning, you're still going to text them. So text them and you say, hey, this is Brilliance, right? This is Brilliance. And, I give you a call. Like, when you have a chance, give me a call back. I want to just, ask you some questions and also just provide you with more resources to be able to make an informed decision at the time of our call. So all the pre-call show up system is a way for you to provide information to these people, because at the end of the day, you're selling a product, but it's not about you. It's about what the product can do for them. I think people misconstrue that because they're thinking about themselves when they're doing these things. But what you have to actually think about is, what is the best way for me to give, what can I give this person to help them make sure that they're making the right decision in the first place? That is the main thing. So if you give people the resources that they need to make an informed decision, whether they go with you or not, it doesn't matter. What you know is that you've given them the information, right? So again, here, we want our sellers to be sending selfie videos, to be sending voice notes, to be sending, resources that are personalized to these people based on their applications. We want to be sending all these things because again, it's not automated. You can depend on automated text for these things. I have a whole SOP on this. Let me see if I can pull that up. The pre-call system blueprint. Like, you have to actively go in. If you want this, just comment down below and I'll send it to you, by the way. So you can see here what to do when someone books a call to increase intent and get them to show up. You can see here there's a lot of things here. Everything you execute after the booking a call, the introduction, how you frame the call, your pre-call questions, just doing a mini discovery, the show up check to make sure that they can show up to the call. And with this one specifically, if you don't get a firm yes from the prospect that yes, I'm going to show up at that time, nothing is going to stop me from showing up, then you have to reschedule them, because usually people will say, yeah, I think I'm going to show up, but then they don't show up. So you have to make sure that, you actually confirming solidly that they're going to show up to the call. And then you have your post-call text, and, you have your engagement beats text as well. Just very similar to what we sent to them on the email as engagement bait. So again, I'm going to put a resource to this, probably going to put a link to this document if you want to grab it. But it's a very in-depth document that is going to help you make a lot of decisions when it comes to your pre-call system, because this right here is going to, number one, get you 80% show rates if you do it correctly. It's one of the things where, you just have to do. It takes work, but, once you do it 30 days in, you're like, this is, it's a breeze. It's something that you absolutely have to do, or you employ people to do it for you. But the thing is, some people realistically don't have that dog in them to go out and call people and text people. But it's absolutely necessary that you do this, because you're going to make a lot of money with this. Just setting people. If you don't call people who, opt into your funnel but don't book in a call, or just partial submits in your type form, you genuinely just hate money, because you can, there's so many times where someone is just like, oh, they were, filling out the form and then something came up and then they dropped the form. So you have to be calling these people, figuring out why they couldn't fill out the form, and then getting them booked on the calendar. All right, so again, that's it for the pre-call show up system. There's a lot to cover there, but again, we'll move on to the campaign, the actual campaign structure. So again, this is the one where I see a lot of media buyers and people like to overcomplicate media buying. Media buying is very scientific, right? So it's very structural in what you need to do once you understand. If you learn from the right people, or you just run things yourself and get to experience it, it's very methodical in what you can do. And usually what we like to do is very simple. So our campaign structure, we usually go with CBO if we're testing below $500 a day. And we go with an ABO if we're testing above $500 a day. The reason why we do CBO if it's below is because we want to be efficient with our spend, so that Meta can basically, it's going to be slightly slower, but Meta is going to be able to take that spend and distribute it across the ad sets and the ads themselves, instead of you controlling the amount of spend that each ad set gets. So CBO for when we are testing at lower spend levels, and then ABO for when we're testing at higher spend levels. just so that, you know, with the ABO, we can now control the amount of spend that goes into each ad set, and, you know, we can decide, okay, what ad set we want to test faster, what ads that we want to test faster, right? So again, that's the key difference there. And then when you want to scale as well, when you have proven messaging, you can really just go with an ABO and basically just scale that up and be able to control the amount of budget that you put towards that campaign as well. So there's many different ways to do this, but a lot of people overcomplicate it. It's really about just understanding, number one, how much you're spending, and also, you know, number two, how fast you want to get results as well. So if you have those two things, you know, it's very, very simple. Just go with a CBO if you're testing below $500 a day, ABO if you're testing above $500 a day, right? So, and then if you're scaling, you can now create an ABO campaign and just use that to scale, because you can control the amount of spend that the ad set gets. So that is it. And then, like I said, you have to always make sure you're modeling your campaigns to know what you have to do to hit your goals, your ad spend, your click-through rate, your CPMs, your app rate, your number of book calls, and show it, right? So you have to be modeling all of these things. And the other thing as well is, like, you know, when you, let's say you hit a, hit a point where you understand what creatives are working and you want to scale, all you have to do, really, I like to do about, you know, 12 creatives. So you do 12 creatives, which are basically going to be similar to what that winning creative is. So let's say you have, you know, 1 or 2 creatives that are winning. You can take those and create 12 different variations of each of them, right? So it's going to be, this is basically what we call creative refresh. And within those, you can literally just take them and film the same scripts in different formats. And, you know, that's going to pass as creative refresh, because you're filming them in different, in, you know, 12 different formats. You can also go in, make some of the angles educational, maybe even change up some of the hooks and the bodies as well, have some variation there, and continue to test that, right? So, and again, when you're in scaling mode, you want to be up in the budget for about, you know, 20 to 30% every 2 to 3 days, so that way you're self-scaling and you're not just bumping from $300 a day to $1,000 a day. And Meta is now going to scramble to show your ads to people because it doesn't know who to like spend this $1,000 a day on. You just went from $300 to $1,000. So someone came to me with that problem where they bumped the budget like 100% overnight and they just got shit leads. And yes, you're going to get shit leads simply because, you know, Meta doesn't know who to spend all of this stuff on. Like, you just literally just told it, hey, you know, go find me more people. Like, in the span of 2 minutes, it's going to find the wrong type of people for you. So you just have to make sure you're self-scaling 20 to 30% every 2 to 3 days, and, you know, just scale it gradually and keep increasing spend, keep increasing spend. If you're getting profitable, if you're still in KPI, keep scaling spend. But if you hit a ceiling where you're not getting more leads or your costs are just starting to go up, then, you know, you have to, you know, stop scaling right there and then create another campaign and keep that foundational campaign running. Add another campaign on top of it, you know, maybe scale it to $300 a day or more. And, you know, just continue to do that, right? So, and again, you could also, if you hit that ceiling, something else that you could do is, like, you know, swap out the standard event that you're optimizing around. So you could be optimizing around schedule for a call funnel, and really you could optimize around complete registration, and you're automatically going to tap into a new audience bucket, because people who are converting with schedule are different from people who convert with that other standard event, which is complete registration. Sometimes we may even test like the lead event. Very, very rarely though. Sometimes we test the submit application as well. So you can swap out these things. If you hit a ceiling where you can't really scale past, you can swap that out and you immediately start tapping into new people. And again, creative refresh as well helps you tap into new audiences, because some people may want to convert using a video. Some people may want to convert using a direct video. I meant to say, some people may want to convert using a selfie video, or maybe a green screen video, or maybe a Loom style educational video. So those are ways to also just, you know, make sure you're tapping into new audiences, and also creating ads that, you know, have open loops that are going to just keep bringing people in. For example, one that I saw on an ad was, you know, you have to be spreading propaganda about your business. And that is like a really, really wow, like it's a really open loop, and it just makes people think, like, what does it mean by propaganda? And that just keeps reaching new people. And that campaign right now is ripping, right? So again, something that we see working really well is like being a little bit controversial in your ads as well. One of my friends, Evan, so he tested this ad that was like, I hate poor people. So, and that brought in, you know, $50 calls, $100 calls, and you have to make sure that you have to test some of those out. Just put your balls on the table and just test them. No one is freaking going to, you know, no one's going to arrest you for testing ads. But again, you can get cheap calls booked. And yeah, so again, that's literally it for this training. There's a lot more that we could go into in terms of just, you know, how to, you know, continue to scale things, how to do your bottleneck analysis, how to figure out. We can go into that. You know, if you guys want to see something on bottleneck analysis or any topic that you want to see, just reply in the comments what you want to see, and I'm going to break that down and make a video on it if it's something that a lot of people want. But again, if you want someone to do this entire thing for you so you don't have to go through the stress, and you don't want to do this, and basically you want to start booking more qualified calls and actually scaling with paid ads, just book a call on my calendar. The link is going to be in the description. Schedule the time, and we're going to hop on and we'll see if this is a good fit for us to move ahead with. If it is, then we'll move ahead. But if not, I'm more than happy to point you in the right direction. And with that being said, you know, drop a like, drop a comment if you got any value from this, and you know, share this with someone who you think is going to be valuable for. Because I just absolutely just dumped the sauce on you guys right here. So again, I spent a lot of time putting this together. I spent a lot of time making this video. Also, I would really appreciate if you just share it with someone and just drop a like, just a simple like. Again, if you're watching to the end, you're an OG. I appreciate you watching to the end. But again, yeah, I'm going to see you guys in the next videos, and you know, let me know your feedback on these as well. With that being said, I am looking forward to seeing you guys in the next one. Peace.